Okay, so I wanted to take a quick minute to explain what's going on here. On the outside and the inside is taking penetrating epoxy, very watery epoxy that is designed to saturate wood. It's great for dealing with dry rot or, in a situation like this, using it preventatively to avoid dry rot. So on the inside and the outside, anywhere there's a crack, anywhere there's a knot, anywhere there's any area where there's a break in the wood or the fibers of the wood where water can come through, I'm saturating that with penetrating epoxy. Then I'm coming back with thickened epoxy and I'm pushing that into all those gaps and trying to fill those gaps. And then the additional step that I'm taking, I'm putting one layer of 6-ounce fiberglass cloth on the inside. This is going to give me a moisture barrier. The laminate that I'm putting on the inside with epoxy and fiberglass is, in theory, going to stabilize the wood and keep the wood from being able to move as much as it may want to. For now, this is more or less the final step down that path of the siding being low maintenance. So I'll let this cure, a little bit of cleanup and sanding and just trimming off some of the loose ends, and it'll be ready for installation, and then I'll be moving on to the interior. So here we have the ever so precisely laid out interior. Right here we have a slide out drawer, storage bin, storage bin, storage bin, storage bin, storage bin, storage bin. So hopefully you guys are kind of seeing how this is taking shape. The whole idea is modular. So these are all individual. They can all just be plucked out, no problem, and then just put back in. Obviously, it is very far from finished. These will all have tops. I have some latches on the way that are like a little push button latch. They're just going to have little slits where you can reach your hand in and pull any of these out at any time. All the floors of these boxes are, let's see, they're up 5/8 of an inch. That's going to allow me to put a 1/2 inch of insulation on the underside of each one. With this whole minimal concept, I still wanted to try and be able to get some insulation out of the floor. Sliver. Got it. I just wanted to get everything kind of in place. And that's kind of where this whole countertop storage area is at as well. I have the top piece made, I just don't want to glue it on until everything is kind of sorted. I went to cut this back piece, and the piece of plywood I was using is really curved. So you can see how curved that is. So I have so many straight edges and hard angles and 90-degree angles and whatever. I decided I might just leave it curved. You'll hardly ever see it. It's back in there, but it's basically just to keep stuff from falling out the back. Over here, this is going to be the battery compartment. So in this area, I'm going to build a little box that has an oversized lip on the top that sits on the countertop with a little hole, so you can just pivot it up and access it like that. And then if I do need to get to the batteries, you can just pull that whole thing out and you got direct access right there. I showed you guys the whole concept with how all of these little containers kind of nest together. The bottoms of them are all grooved out, as you can see there, so that they don't want to move. And I'm really happy with how that has come out. So far that's working. So as far as this goes, this piece right here and this end piece on the bottom, they are grooved out for the truck bed, just like all the other boxes. So this is pretty planted. Obviously it's a little flimsy right now, but when I put the top on, it's going to have a backsplash made out of that cedar that I showed you. So between the feet being nested, I don't even know if that's the right term, but it's what I'm going with, and I don't know, 3 or 4 screws that go through the backsplash into the frame, this thing's going to be solid and planted. So the whole idea is you could pull up somewhere or at home or whatever, and if you want to change gears, you in like 5 minutes you could pull all these containers out, pull out just a couple screws, pull the counter storage area out, disconnect the battery, pull that out, and other than the overhead storage, it's back to just a normal truck bed with a shell on it. If you're into that, stick around, because I have a pretty cool idea for how I'm going to do my bed. All I'm going to say is it doesn't necessarily involve sleeping on top of these. That part will also be modular. I'm still kind of thinking through the details of it, but the general idea of it I have in mind, and that's going to be cool. So everything's looking pretty rough right now. There's a lot of loose fiberglass, got these kind of clunky camper shell clamps, all this exposed fiberglass from doing that. It just doesn't look very refined at the moment, but I'm in that phase on the inside of the camper where everything's just kind of blown up. I'm just trying to get things in place, things kind of framed in, roughed in. The aesthetic of the whole thing will come together. I already know how I'm going to cover the walls. It'll be kind of integrated into how I'm going to do my insulation. I don't want to give that up just yet, but I think it's a pretty cool idea, and it's very simple and incredibly lightweight. So that'll be cool. That'll tie that together. These frames will be painted. Things like the vent will be trimmed out. I'd like to get these windows trimmed out. I have those ones out at the moment. I'm pretty excited. I feel like it's going pretty well. And I'm getting to the point where it's some of those knick-knacky little things, figuring out specific storage areas and whatever, and I enjoy that kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to wrap this video up right here. That way I can get a bit of an update out to you guys and you can see what my idea is on the interior, and then I can get back to work on it and hopefully get you another video coming up soon. So thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, this is part 5. The previous 4 are on the channel. They're all in a playlist. I'll link that above or at the end of the video or whatever. To those of you who have been following along, thank you so much. Thank you for the likes and the comments and the subscribes and all that good stuff. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.